As a reminder, we will take listener questions about every month. I'll put out a call for questions on Instagram, so follow Money with Katie on Instagram if you're not already, and we will pick one that feels interesting and widely applicable, and we'll answer it. So as my standard disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial professional. This is not financial advice. This is just what would Katie do in your situation. Here's this week's question from Erin.
Hi, Katie. I'm Erin, and I'm calling into Rich Girl and Guy Nation from Charleston, South Carolina. I don't plan on having children for a bit longer, but I'd love to know your thoughts on managing maternity leave with your finances and how future parents can plan ahead. My company only covers short-term disability, and the weekly rate is less than what I make. So how can I ensure my savings stay intact through this time?
This is a great question, and I'm going to try really hard to resist the urge to extol the virtues of countries where paid family leave and subsidized childcare is the norm. But if you do want to hear me complain about that, boy, do I have an episode for you. Anyway, so much like a lot of life in the United States, the best approach is planning ahead financially. Obviously, this is tricky if you become pregnant unexpectedly. Even people who are in situations where you would consider them more ready to become pregnant unexpectedly. For example, a married couple who owns their home, which is about as stable and predictable as it gets, can be caught off guard financially by an unexpected tiny visitor. But you mentioned that you're not planning to start a family for several years, so I'm going to go down that route. If you are planning to have a kid in the next several years and you also intend to stay at your current company, it's amazing that you are thinking ahead and planning so proactively. So the way that I would approach this is I would look at the paid family leave options at my company. It sounds like you have short-term disability in lieu of a formal family leave policy, and I would determine the amount and the duration. So let's say your leave is $1,500 a week for 12 weeks before taxes. That's about $6,000 per month for 3 months. If you actually make, say, $8,000 per month and you would like to take 6 months off, not 3, you can calculate the net costs out of pocket to replace your income during that time. In this example, I think it works out to about $30,000 to supplement your income during the first 3 months and then replace it entirely in the next 3, when we'll assume that you will receive no paid time off, but would have the option to take unpaid time off. That in itself is a luxury. Some companies would not allow that. So it definitely makes sense to ask ahead of time and maybe even ask a trusted friend or a mother in your workplace, because while it is illegal to discriminate against pregnant people or employees who plan to have children, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So that would cover replacing your income. But of course, it is a savings nest egg that you would intend to spend, right? So if you're only spending $4,000 per month, not the full $8,000 that you're earning, go you, 50% savings rate, that's what's up. But you could theoretically subsist on the short-term disability benefits for 3 months and then save $10,000 to $12,000 for the next 3. It just depends on how much of your income you actually want to replace. But that really only scratches the surface. Having a baby, even with private health insurance, can cost thousands of dollars, as does outfitting your home for a baby, buying them food and diapers and a bunch of other baby stuff. That's still way over my head since my only baby is Samcat. And yes, for millennia, people have been birthing children with little to no money saved, but obviously that's not ideal. So if you're able to put aside the amount using the calculation that we just walked through, and then maybe pad it by 25 to 30% for additional health expenses, you will likely have a less stressful first few months with your future little one. Now, everyone say it with me, universal paid family leave on 3. Ready? Okay, 1, just kidding. Kind of. But really though, do you think if we framed our little chicken nuggets as future human capital for the capitalism machine, they would subsidize it? We'll workshop it.